Hello, I'm Jash and welcome back to Jash Reads. Oh, Danny's been a little more rambunctious today, more talkative. So, you might get to hear her in the background. Yay, oh my god. Anyways, what is Jash Reads? Jash Reads is a series where I read a book cover to cover and discuss it chapter by chapter. And it's also a series where we work on building something. In this case, we're not building something, we're renovating. Okay, let me get the chat all set up here. Okay. So every day I like to have a little can of Coke. It's my little treat of, yay, you did so well today. And so the cans we got from our latest grocery venture is, you know, they're one of those that has a word on it. You know, sometimes it's like, oh hey, you know, it has Jessica on it, or, you know, a name. And in this case there were words like partner and such, and which would have made me feel awkward. But the one I picked up today said homie, and I'm looking at my skin tone, and like, I do not think I have the right skin tone for this. Sorry, villager. And, you know, I'm looking at my skin tone here, and like, I do not think I have the right skin tone for this one. And I got a little bit paranoid, thinking, oh no, do all these cans just say homie? But the next one I picked up said partner. Like, okay, good. I live in Florida, but my skin tone is still extremely white. Like, I stay, you know, inside most of the time. And if I ever have to spend some long time in the sun, I have to put on a lot of sunscreen, because my skin is the type where, you know, I can't have a nice little tan in the summer or something, because it's either nice and sparkly white, or it is burnt. Nice differing shades of reds, which is, you know, isn't exactly fun. Okay, put this in the ceiling. I'm going to do this with the ceiling. And then we'll get started on the dramatic reading portion. Oh fuck. On. Too hard there. Okay. Yeah, Daenerys, my nice little troublemaker of a bird, hasn't been attacking anyone like she was yesterday. But she is being very talkative, sometimes yelling out like that. That's called a flock call. And their voices have to be loud like that because out in the wild, you know, there's going to be a lot of distance covered, so they have to really be able to contact everyone. And it seems her and Freya have been in a fierce debate nearly all today. And I was worried she would continue on with that, and it seems like she has. So I am very sorry for everyone's eardrums. But if it makes you feel better, I probably won't have hearing by the time I tuck them into bed tonight. Oh my god, that's a bad storm out there. Oh, probably go to bed. Okay, hang on. Go. I just don't like the rain, because if you don't fall asleep during, you know, rainy night, it will just continue on and on and on. We've already gushed about bloodlines. Sort of spoilery talk in one of my Stardew Valley streams, so yay! But anyways, not going to talk about the plot, but it made a shitload of money. Like, it's the most profitable Final Destination movie so far, so studios being what they are, they'll definitely want to milk that cow. More Final Destination movies. Hopefully another good Final Destination movie. You know, I'd like good over whatever the fuck Final Destination 4 was. Let me take a nice little screenshot here. Okay, I think this is all due with the room. I can't really think of anything else. It's nice and purple unless I want to replace the walls. But because I don't want to get rid of that wood there, it would mean destroying these. Or not destroying, but getting in the way of them, which I also don't want, so. Okay. Screenshot taken. And when I look at the screenshot later, I'll see if I got any of the villagers. Okay. Hungry and really need to get done here. So I can nom nom. Anyways, oh yeah, I never mentioned what book we're continuing to read. We are continuing to read Animorphs number 13, The Change by K.A. Applegate. And let's see what chapter we are working on. Yeah, we're not fucking writing this book. What chapter we're reading today? Chapter 22. Woo! Yay! Oh my god. Okay. Prepare myself. And we can get started. Yay! I quickly told them the details of my plan. I had to stick to business. There was no time for feeling sorry for myself, and I sure didn't want them feeling sorry for me. No time for pity. No time for anger, either. There was nothing I could do to the Almist. Nothing I could do. Okay, Cassie, we need you to stay in Wolf Morph. Axe, watch Cassie's back and try to stay out of view. Marco, you know your part, right? Danny, I told you not be biting Jor, okay? Sorry, live animals, doing something live. A good mix. Anyways, let's continue. Yeah, I got it, he said nervously. He was temporarily human, in between morphs. Marco's part of the plan was one of the most difficult. And if he failed, Rachel and I were dead. No problem, right? I said to Marco. Yeah, no problem. Just make sure one of you is a few seconds behind the other. I'll need some time. I know my role, Jake said. He was just coming out of his tiger morph. Up in the air. My old job, I said. Yeah, let's hope I do it as well as you always did, Jake said. Cassie, Axe, let's move it. Marco, quit worrying. It's just like catching a pass with your eyes closed. No big deal for mighty Marco. Marco laughed. That's it. Flatter me. Now I know we're dead. But don't worry. I'll be there. I fluttered over to stand on Ked Hallpack's shoulder. It isn't easy to find a place to sit on a Hork-Bajir. I dug my talons in just a bit to the dark, leathery skin, and I began to acquire the Hork-Bajir's DNA. All around, I could hear the sounds of enemies closing in. I heard the vroom, vroom, vroom of the helicopters, and now that they were getting closer, my hawk hearing could even detect the faint zhoo, zhoo of the Dracon beams. Sometimes there would come a loud crack, almost like sudden thunder. It was the sound of a tree exploding as the Dracon beam turned the tree sap to steam in a split second. And there was the roar of the fire itself. But I shut all of that out of my mind. All I had to focus on was acquiring the Hork-Bajir. Ked Hallpack went slightly limp. I could feel the muscles relaxing. At last, I flew away to a bare spot on the forest floor. The others were all Danny! 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 No! Bad! Bad. You okay, Joa? You okay, my baby boy? Sorry, folks. Danny was trying to mount Jorah. Okay, I love you too, Jorah. Danny! So yeah, as I said, having live animals, doing something live, not always a good mix. Danny's been very hormonal lately. And she really wants to do it with Jorah. Jorah does not want to do it with Danny. So, yeah. And the thing is, she gets very dominating, so really holding Jorah down. Oh my god. Danny, I didn't think I'd say this a couple hours ago, but I'd prefer you screaming at the top of your lungs than trying to mount Jorah. Oh my god. I know, it's like people say, talk about the birds and the bees for a metaphor for sex, when birds and bees have a completely different way to fuck than humans do. It's like, yeah, don't think we'd like to do it like the birds or the bees. Honestly, more. God. But anyways, let's get back to the horrifying book. Yay! At last, I flew away to a bare spot on the forest floor. The others were all watching me, even while they did their own morphs. I think they halfway suspected I was nuts. They halfway wondered if I just made it up about being able to morph. I closed my eyes and held the image of the Hork-Bajir in my mind, and then, very quickly, I began to feel the changes. I sprouted up from the pine needles and dead leaves. I rocketed up and up so fast I couldn't help but yell. Yeah, whoa, whoa. Hey, he is morphing, Margot said. Guess that's something, at least, Rachel said bitterly. I ignored her angry tone. I couldn't listen to her anger because it would just make me mad too. A predator is never angry, just hungry. Anger only gets in the way. Up and up I grew, and as I grew, my wings grew with me. It's funny the way morphing works. It's never totally logical. It's never exactly the same twice either. And it is always gross. Even as I was morphing, I was watching the others undergo changes. It was a scene out of some lunatic's darkest nightmare. Bodies melted. Weird appendages grew suddenly, here and there. Teeth appeared before there was a mouth to hold them. Fur grew like one of those time-lapse videos of mold, just shooting out of the skin. Big humans tottered unsteadily on tiny dog-like legs. If you just happened to wander in and saw the spectacle of 4 kids and a bird all melting and mutating and squirming as 2 giant aliens watched, you'd definitely think you were insane. You'd want to see a psychiatrist after you stopped screaming. I could feel the changes happening in my own body. Not that they were painful. They weren't. But I could still feel things going on. and I could hear them. My insides were reorganizing totally. Hork-Bajir have at least 2 hearts, maybe more. So entire new hearts were forming inside of me. And from the hearts, new arteries and veins had to sprout and spread throughout my body. I had to go from having a digestive system designed to handle big chunks of raw mouse to a digestive system built for tree bark. I could hear a gurgling sound as internal organs shifted and stretched and were pushed aside to make room for totally new organs. I could hear a stretching, grinding sound as big, thick, solid bones replaced my hollow bird bones. And on the outside, I saw my wings grow till they were huge. Then, with amazing speed, the feathers melted into hard, leathery skin. There was a snap as the joints in my wings changed direction to bend the way a Hork-Bajir arm bends. Then, out came the blades. Zoop! Blades at my wrist! Zoop! Blades at my elbows! Zoop! The forward swept horn blades on my snakehead. Hey, Tobias, Marco said. You kept the same feet. It was a joke, but it was true, too. There wasn't much difference between my hawk talons and the feet of the Hork-Bajir, except that they were maybe 100 times bigger. Somehow, that made me feel good. I liked the look of those big, ripping talons. I liked thinking about what they would do to tax on. Cassie and Axe took off at a run. They had a lot of distance to cover very fast. Fortunately, a wolf can run almost flat out all day long. And there's no doubt about how fast an Andalite can move. No doubt. Jarahami and Ked Hallpack left with them. Marco, when it... God. Sorry. Just had to catch myself there. Anyways, let me continue. Yeah, let me. You're going to stop me, aren't you? Oh, Iron Golem, you just continue on your way, good sir, good sir, good sir. Marco was in his huge, powerful gorilla morph and getting ready to leave, too. See you guys later, I hope, he said. Be there, Rachel growled. She pointed a dangerous Hork-Bajir hand at him. Okay, I'll be there. Don't be too long or I may decide to take a nap. Marco joked as he lumbered off through the trees. Jake was perched on a branch just over my head. A peregrine falcon, fastest thing in the air. He spread his wings and took off, leaving me and Rachel alone. Rachel had morphed into a mirror image of me. We were a fine pair of Hork-Bajir. Ready? I asked her. She peered at me from behind alien eyes. You okay, Tobias? Sure. Why wouldn't I be? Well, you haven't exactly had a great day, she said. I laughed grimly. I'm a freak of nature, Rachel. Any day I stay alive is a good day for me. And that is it for that chapter. Sorry, I just felt like I wasn't being able to form words with my mouth, so I needed like a second. Okay, so I need a pillow to rest my elbows on so I don't break every bone in my body when streaming. But when I'm doing dramatic reading, you know, I don't need that. So, yeah. Just have to place. Let's see which place. Oh, I could have walked over here to sleep on the bed. Okay, so here comes the part of the stream where we talk about the chapter. Or keeping that. I think we're gonna basically destroy this library section because I think we had, yeah, we have nothing. So yeah, this chapter, when I was practicing, I sort of was debating exactly how to convey Tobias's emotions. You know, he's morphing. And eventually I decided on the fact that I feel, oh shit. I decided that he can feel like sad, you know, sad when he's doing anything but morphing. Because Tobias, when he told the Elmist, hey, give me what I want, you know what that is? The Elmist knew that what Tobias really wanted was the ability to morph. Like, Tobias is thinking like, oh, he'll give me my body. Because Tobias wasn't really aware of what he actually wanted. Which is why when making deals with the Trickster God, you know, don't just give a very general, oh, hey, yeah, you know what I want. But again, Tobias is around 13 years old. So he's not going to be the sort of person that'll be like, oh yes, I am definitely going to think through my every decision carefully. Because Tobias really wants to morph, so I decided to have him be very happy and excited when he's morphing. Because deep down inside, even though he can tell himself that, oh, he hates what the Elmist did, that the Elmist tricked him, Tobias really does just want to morph. He wants to be useful to the group. I mean, he hated being a human because he was beat up all the fucking time and abusive households. And then when he's stuck as a bird, he really hates that he can't help the group. So I figured, oh, if he's morphing, he's going to be happy. And I like that Rachel in this chapter gives a very good counter to that. Is able to express Tobias's anger. Because I'll get to that book when we get to it, because there's a little theory and debate around one moment, but you know, when we get to that, we'll get to that. Because that's a whole nother tangent, and I'm trying to do no spoilers, so yeah. But basically, I think Rachel's really upset about the Elmist quote-unquote just lying to them because she wanted to have a normal relationship, you know, a normal, oh, this dude takes me out on a date. It's all normal and shit. Now, one thing in her life needs to be normal. And she wanted that to be, you know, Tobias, her relationship with Tobias. So I think that's really where Rachel's anger comes from. Trying to do a nice little big fire pit in the middle of the room. Of course, Tobias is going to be very nervous when giving directions. Like saying, hey, we're going to do this or we're going to do that. He's not the leader. Tobias, you know, again repeats in this book that he really doesn't like pity. He doesn't like when people look at him and then just feel sorry for him. I think I was going somewhere with that, but now I forgot, so oh well. Sort of tilted to this side there. I think good enough for what I have planned. Let's see. Yeah, there wasn't really too much to this chapter. Not too much that I can't discuss. I'm trying to, rack my brain over what was I missing? What did I mean to talk about? I just brain farted. Okay. Yeah. I was going to discuss something more. Okay. Oh yeah, now I have to do a little question. Let's see. Okay, the question for this video is, what do you think about morphing a Hork-Bajir, like, what would you like the most? What would you not like the most? Do you think there would be any disturbing aspects about morphing a Hork-Bajir? Like, Hork-Bajir have extremely good hearing, so if you're a little more on the deaf side, would that disturb you at all about going from not being able to hear hardly anything to go, oh my god, I can hear I think I can hear people think. Jesus fucking Christ. So, you know, comment below, please let me know. And also feel free to ask me anything else about this chapter that I did not discuss. I'm sorry, I didn't do a very good discussion this time, where I just couldn't really think anything. So. And remember, no major spoilers. Now, I don't mind little minor spoilers, but you know, big things, no. The thing is, I am hoping against hope that people actually get into the Animorphs series via this dramatic reading. So, you know, there's some big twists and turns that coming up, so and I don't want to ruin that for everyone who really wants to, who is just, you know, getting to the series for the first time. And I'm going to get to the links that will be down in the description. If you're watching this live on Twitch, shortly after I get done with the stream, I'll be putting those links down in the description. If you're watching this on YouTube, that's not anything you have to worry about. Also, some of these links will be Amazon Associates links, which means I get paid a little something something when you buy the product via those links. You'll be able to support really good people, as well as supporting your favorite Twitch streamer and YouTuber, which is obviously me. Yay! I'm so funny. Okay. Let's get started on those links. Okay. The first link is, of course, to buy your very own copy of Animorphs number 13, The Change, by K. Applegate. Animorphs is hands down my favorite book series of all time. I wouldn't say it got me into reading, but it definitely was my first big fandom I got into. Like, I even took a break from the fandom for a few years, and suddenly, boom, I'm back at it. I can't escape. Get like little seats. Oh. Seats for the villagers to sit on. And while the whole... And while Animorphs is young adult, it definitely has parts that are like, wow, this is for kids. That's something. Let's just traumatize these kid folks here. Let's see, what should we put here? For this dramatic reading series, even though I have all the books, I decided to read them on my e-reader for the simple fact that my books were purchased when they first came out. So, you know, there's a lot of wear and tear there, so yeah. When I do stuff with the ceiling, that's not going to do. Well, there's darker parts of the series. You know, kids and adults will be looking at the series in two completely different ways, so. Though it's young adult, I promise you, if you're an adult, you are going to have a grand fucking time. Just be aware that it's a series that is a very clearly a 90s series, so yeah. If you're an adult, some parts are definitely going to make you feel old because you'll go, oh, young people won't know what this is. Okay, the next link, let's see. The next link is to my Twitter. I'm Jashikins on Twitter. And, you know, we can chat all night and day about Animorphs, but just be aware that the no spoilers thing is merely for my dramatic reading series, so. If you're going to talk about Animorphs to me and you're like, I'm like maybe halfway through the first book and I don't want anything else spoiled. Yeah. Yeah. But besides Animorphs, I'm part of a lot of different other fandoms. So, say you want to talk about the latest Final Destination movie. Yeah, I'm up for it. Actually, I'm a fan of the entire Final Destination series. I hate number 4, but when Bloodlines was announced, when I did a big Final Destination rewatch, I even rewatched that. Let's see. In the next, not Final Destination, the next link is to my Patreon, and I'm also Jashikins on Patreon. And the Patreon, okay, I forgot where it was. And the Patreon helps support all my dramatic readings, all my other streams, and the books I'm releasing, and every odd thing I'm doing on my blog. It's definitely had changes over the years, and not just in design. And I currently have 2 tiers for my Patreon. The first is a $1 tier, where you get to see all my red bubble designs before I release them into the world. And I'm currently working on my next red bubble collection. Let's see. And I have a $5 tier where you get to see my book cover reveals for my book series. Yay! Which are also more than free to be a free patron, but you don't get any perks, but you know, it makes me feel loved all the same, so I don't hate it. And last but not least is a link to my Kafka's Men series. This is my original reverse harem series. It is slow burning, and if you like your slow burns going slower than a fucking glacier, well, do I have the series for you. It's also grim dark superhero, so besides all the lovey-dovey stuff, you get sometimes body horror, because Kafka's thing is she can morph. I wonder where I got that idea from. Let me pose this a little more. Need it. Angle. Is the frame rate dropping here? Feels like it is, so I'm leaving it. That just freaked me out a little bit. I'm just gonna stand out here now for reasons. So, yeah. And currently, as of filming this stream, I can't promise when it gets, onto YouTube, because I think by then this free promotion will be done. But I'm currently running a free promotion on the 7th book in my Kafka's Men series. So if you're like undecided about whether you'd actually like to buy any of these books, well, head on over, get the Kindle version of the 7th book for free. And, if you like it, there are 6 other books in the series, so woo! Oh yeah, 8th book is currently in pre-order, and it will be released on July 4th, so, while you can buy it currently, it will, have to be on pre-order, so, yay! So that will be it for this stream. Thank you very much, everyone who watched. Whew. I'm going to eat. Either I'm going to eat dinner or I'm going to make myself a lovely bagel with strawberry jelly. So, again, thank you all for watching, and remember to like, subscribe, follow, and all that jazz, and until next time, whenever that may be, goodbye.